All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Today we're going to go over the new Commissions in Command tab, which you will access right through the opportunities in Command. So as any of you that have already been doing business and been working through Command, you already know how to create an opportunity, and it is right through there that you'll be able to do this new Commissions tab. And it's essentially the same information that you would put on a green sheet. There's just a little bit more functionality to it for tracking your business. And also, it's just a little bit easier than that kind of cumbersome green sheet that we all got used to over the years. So again, it's the same basic principle. You are going to be expected, just like you're expected to do your green sheet. After something goes under contract, you'll just be able to do it right through here now, where you're already adding your documents, adding all your information. So we're all in one place. So from here, obviously, this is where we would go if we wanted to create an opportunity. So I am going to just create a quick opportunity, and I'm hoping that all of you are familiar at this point with creating the opportunity. And you just come in, you will select the opportunity type. I'm going to say that this is a buyer. I'm going to put in my contact. And again, same with .loop when you create an opportunity. It's always best if you can to name it the property address. And we're going to just, again, create this opportunity quickly. And if you need any help creating opportunities, there are other videos and classes on that we can go over for the creating part of the opportunity. So once you've created the opportunity, this is where you have obviously the opportunity to add documents to your opportunity. So this would be where you would connect to DocuSign to be able to get all your documents signed. But where we're going to start here is actually this field here, which is called offers. And what I like about this offers tab is that it affords you the ability to enter all of the offers that you have on a property. Let's say, for example, you have a buyer that has made multiple offers. You can actually have a record of all of them in here in the offers tab. Same thing with a listing. If you're getting multiple offers on your listings, you can add the information in here for the offers and have a list of all of the offers and a really good record of any offers that have come in. And then I'll show you, you'll accept the offer that actually moves forward into a contract. So as you have all of your information here and all of your opportunity, you're going to select this little button here that says offers. And you're going to notice that this commissions tab, which is ultimately where we're going to be, is not able to be filled out until you do the offers tab. So you have to do this offers tab first. And you only have to put in the final offer. But like I mentioned, if you want to keep record of any offers that you have, either on a listing or that your buyer has put in, you can add as many offers into this section as you want and have a timeline of any offers that are in here. So I'm going to hit add new offer, and it's going to be obviously a version of your offer, so you can call it anything you want. So if I know it's the final offer, or if I know it's the final and best offer, I can name it anything I want: initial offer, first offer, however you want to call it for yourself. And when you hit create offer, it's just going to start asking you some basic information on the offer. And you'll notice that some of this information that it's asking for is very similar information that it asked for on the green sheet as well. So it's just asking for that same basic information to give us an idea of who's getting paid at Keller. So you have your offer details, your version name, your offer date, your estimated closing date. Obviously in New York, we know it's estimated, so you would put in your estimated closing date. And you can actually select the listing from KWLS if it is a Keller Williams listing, or you can put the property address in here if it is not. So if it's your listing or if it's another Keller listing, you can search from any Keller listing and pull over a little bit of information. Or if it's not, you can just put in the address and it'll try to find it through Google. And if it can't, because I made it up, it will show you the address of the property here. So that's the first page. And then I'm just going to essentially scroll through the different pages. There's 4 different pages here for this information. So the next information on the parties page is where you're going to put in the information for who's on the transaction. And again, very similar information to what we asked for in the green sheet. So here it's going to pull over whatever side you are. It's going to pull over the buyer information in my case, because that's what I dictated this file to be. And it's going to pull over their information right from my opportunity. So I don't need to fill any of that in. And then here, if I happen to have the seller, I can put in the seller's information and just have that information here for the other side. I can put in their own personal addresses if I choose to. I can mark off if they're pre-approved, pre-qualified, and that. Now you'll notice certain fields have little red asterisks. And these little red asterisks are the fields that are mandatory. So any other fields obviously are optional. Just like in the green sheet, the red boxes were the fields that were mandatory. Here you'll see little red asterisks. So obviously you're representing your side that's going to pull your information in. And here it's going to ask who the associate is on the other side. I'm just going to say it's Lori Burns, and we're going to put in her information here. And again, you can put in as little or as much information as you want with that in reference to that person. So that simply is the second page, your parties. And again, when you're done, then you're going to hit terms, and this is the page, and it always goes down to the bottom, and I'm not really sure, but it always bounces. This is where you're going to actually start to put in the terms of this particular offer. So this is the page that actually has the dollar information in it. And you'll notice here it's going to ask for any cash that you're putting down. So any sort of a down payment. So whether it's at contract or at closing, cash is really looking for the amount that they're not financing. So if it's a cash deal, obviously the entire thing would go under cash. If they're putting down $25,000, both at contract and at closing, and financing another $250, you would just simply fill this information in here to get that final sale price here at the end. So it's your down payment, it's your finance amount, and your sale price here. And that'll give you here these terms of your idea for your offer. Now, obviously, if you do happen to collect any sort of earnest money, which I know generally it's not a best practice to do here, we don't generally do that. But if there is anything along those lines, you could put that amount in here, any option fees or anything that is any sort of extra fees. But again, around here, we don't really have a lot of that. And then down here, if you happen to have a seller concession, you can enter in that the seller will contribute X amount to settlement costs. So if you happen to have that amount down here and there is a concession, you can certainly add it down here in this part. But for the most part, you're going to be filling in this section up here, which is your terms, which is your down payment, your finance amount, and your sale price. So far, so good. So the next page is very similar again to the green sheet, where it's going to ask you what you think about the agent on the other side. If you believe that they would be a good fit for Keller Williams, you can put some information in here, whether it was a great deal, they were very knowledgeable, helped you in all aspects of the transaction, or vice versa. If you don't believe that they're a positive fit, you can let them know, and the team leader then can see this, and the MCA can see this and help us with recruiting. So very similar to, again, what was asked for on the green sheet. So we filled in the offer details, the parties involved, the terms of the offer, and then we're going to save it. And now you'll see here, as I was referring to before, see, we have a question. I'll answer that in a second. So we have here where the offers, as I mentioned, you can have a record of all of the offers that you have here. So this is the offer that I have. I can accept it. I can reject it. I can add negotiations if it's changing. So I can go in and change if something's negotiating and the thing's changing. I can edit it. I can send it to somebody. I can remove it. And I can have all of that there and decide if this is the offer that I'm going to accept or if I need to add a new offer.
Hey, Erin, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
With this, this is just for back-end information. This isn't presenting an offer, correct?
Well, it's not, but you absolutely, if you wanted to, you could send this out to somebody if you chose to, but I still would present a purchase offer as you always did.
Right. Okay. Thanks. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. And we had a question, Rosemary. My offer is all set up and filled in some of this information. How do I get back to this point? So if you have this offer already in, any opportunity should have this offers tab here. And anything that you've put in, as long as you've saved it, it will be here in this offers tab, just like this in a list. So it'll be just like this. And Jerry was asking about rentals. You would actually do rentals in a very similar way. You could say add new offer, and it'd be a little bit different, of course, because there's no down payment or things like that. But when you got to the terms, you would be able to say that it was all just a cash. I would say like that the $1,200 was a cash offer if you were doing a rental. So hopefully that answers your question. And where did I just lost mine. Hold on, see? Live TV. Let me go back into my opportunity because I lost it here somewhere along the line.
Hey, Erin, this is Barry.
Hi, Barry.
Hey. So when you get an offer and somebody goes, okay, I'm doing conventional and I'm going to put 20% down, that's already kind of before, I mean, they may be, like pre-approved, but then again, depending on which program, we don't know at that time what the program is. Those weren't asterisk areas to put in,
No.
They're going to put 10% down at signing of contract, 10% down at closing the balance on a mortgage.
Because
now,
it's not really relevant to the commission tab on here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really relevant to that, so it's not necessary to have that on here.
Okay, because like if they got a first-time home buyer, it could be they only need to put 10% down.
Right. It doesn't matter.
Figures would be changing, so it doesn't matter whether you fill that in or not, because
well, you do have to fill it in, and when you're presenting an offer, aren't you always putting on the purchase offer what the down payment is? Isn't that part of the offer?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
Conventional, and you're trying to get those parameters in there, but they're not always stone. It's not in stone.
Well, and this can be changed. This isn't in stone either. This isn't set in stone either. That's why there's a little button over here where you can edit or negotiate, you can edit your offer, because this isn't set in stone either. But when you're presenting an offer, you have to have some sort of an idea what the down payment is. So you would put in what you believe it to be at the time, and you can always come in, and if you wanted to change it for your own records, you can always come in and just edit the offer in your timeline.
Now, if you're want to make edits to the offer and it's already been signed, does that mean you have to go back and do the re-signing again as well?
Well, this has nothing to do with your documents.
Oh, okay.
So what would you normally do? If you negotiated an offer and you made a change to it, what would you normally do?
Okay, so it's a basic flow sheet to look at that can be.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. So let me see. So Christy and Sharon had some questions. I thought we were supposed to present offers to clients via offers. You don't have to submit clients. You don't have to submit them via offers. The agent analysis, let's see, I thought agent analysis was what the agent thought about the offer so that the client would see the remarks to make a decision. It's not that you're doing it incorrectly. It just is another option. If you wanted to come in here and you wanted to go to adding analysis, you can come in, that's the agent analysis, I'm sorry, excuse me, let me go back. And you wanted to come in here and you wanted to send it from here, you absolutely can. You can send the offer from here and make any notes on it that you choose to, if you want to. You absolutely can. So it's not that you're doing it incorrectly, it's just another option for you to do that. Linnell, yes, that is how Scott Leroy taught it. Pro could be conventional, con could be FHA. Yeah, exactly. So when you're making analysis, so if you're adding an analysis about the offer, you can certainly make any notes about what you feel.
That can change along the way.
Absolutely it can, but it could change along the way no matter what you're doing. So this isn't going to change that it could change along the way. It could have changed along the way, whether you're using this program or not, right? So that's not really making a difference. So Christy's asking, will the MCA see that? No, the MCA actually doesn't see the offer. The MCA sees what happens next. So the commission's part. This offer here is literally just for you, for your clients, for your own records through your opportunity. We only see what happens next.
Erin, quick question. I guess I'm a little confused. Is the pros and cons for FHA versus conventional, or is it about the agent?
Well, no, there's two different, when you're going to the analysis here, the analysis is actually from what I was taught, is the same is of the agent. So that's what I was taught when I took this. So I will double check that though and make sure, because I understand what Linnell is saying and I could be incorrect. So let me just double check that. I actually watched another video this morning, and what they explained was that it's the same as on the green sheet where you were able to say what you thought about the agent.
Okay.
But I will double check that, because Linnell's saying she got some different information from a class at Scott Leroy. So I will double check that part.
Okay.
And get back to you guys on that. So now we have our offers here, and we can have all the offers here that we've had in the property. And the next step is to accept one, because obviously, as it says here, you cannot view the commission tab until you accept an offer. So once you have all of your offer information in here, you're going to hit accept. And now this commissions button is open. So now you're able to come in and process the commission part of this here. So now it's just telling me that I missed my contract date because there was no place to put the contract date in the other part. So you'll have to add your contract date, and you're going to see here, it's going to start at the very top. It's going to pull over your sale price. It's going to pull over the commission that you entered that it was when you created the opportunity, and your commission here. So this is where it's going to start first. Now, if you happened to have a payment to a co-broker, you're able to put that in here. So let's say, for example, I know on some REOs or on some foreclosures, they send the entire check to one of the brokers, to the listing broker, and you're able to add a co-broker payment here. You can also have this be the referral, but there's an easier place at the bottom to add a referral under the add item. So I would add it down there when we get down there. So here you'll start to see your agent breakdown, and it obviously will pull yourself over. It'll give you the unit as one, because it's assuming right now that you're the only person on the transaction. However, I'm going to show you how to add another agent to the transaction, because that's a very common, thing that we have with teams and partnerships. So it's going to decide the number of units and the total commission. It's going to sort of show you your breakdown, your gross commission, your royalty, which is your franchise fee, your 6%. It'll show you what your company dollar. Down here, it's going to give you your options for donating to KW Cares. Obviously, E&O is grayed out because we don't pay errors and omissions on transactions. So that's grayed out. You won't be able to put anything there, but you could put in your KW Cares donations, your KW Kids, your scholarship, and it'll actually break down.
I just want to ask a question. It's Liz.
Sure.
So right now on our green sheet, the KW Cares tab is already populated with, I think it's $10 or something like that. As the fundraising chair, I got to, collect beans for KW Cares. Any way that we can get this to auto-populate, or we can't?
Not yet. I know, because even the green sheets didn't at a certain point. I believe that this will at some time. Now, each individual person, I believe, can set their own, but as a company standard, I don't think that we can set a standard for this here. But each individual agent, I believe, can set a denomination that they want to be defaulted to.
All right, very good. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Aaron, I have a question.
Sure.
Up above where we were looking at putting in the commission, you had put down 3%. So that is, you put down what you, as if you're co-broking, that's what you put in, or whereas if you're working on an overall 6% commission, at this point, then you put in whichever role you're playing.
Correct.
So it's either
yes.
Whatever's coming to you. Okay.
Yes. Whatever is coming to you on your side, just like you would have on the green sheet or like you would on your commission statement. Whatever Keller Williams is being paid as a brokerage. Now, please note that if you are representing both sides, as you know, it is 2 opportunities and it is 2 separate commissions that are being calculated. So that's the difference between this and the green sheet, is that if you are representing both sides, or if Keller Williams is representing both sides, you're going to do one of these for the listing side and then a whole opportunity and one of these for the buyer side.
So you would then put yourself in as a co-broker.
No, you would not. You would do a totally separate opportunity and commission for the other side of the transaction. Just like now you have to do 2 opportunities if you are both sides of the transaction. You're going to have an offer and a commission also for both sides of the transaction.
I don't think I've ever done 2 different things on the green sheet.
Well, this isn't the green sheet. This is a little bit different. It is a little bit different. There are a lot of similarities, but it is a little bit different. And one of the differences is that you will have one for each side.
Wow, okay. Is there some place on here where it shows that I'm acting as a seller's agent or the buyer's agent?
It's the opportunity that you created. So if I created an opportunity for a buyer, then yes, this is going to be a buyer commission because that was the opportunity that I created. It's all combined now. It's all linked. So starting from the very first step where you add somebody to your database, straight through your opportunity, through your offer, through your commission, it's all linked now. So when I entered this information at the get-go, the commission and all that information in the very start and all their name, it all pulls over because it's all connected now. It's not disjointed pieces.
Okay.
It's a buyer because this is a buyer opportunity. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it's going to show you this information here. Now, if you are splitting this with another agent, let's say, for example, you're on a team or you have a partnership, you're simply going to just change unit to be whatever the unit is. And the only problem with that is that it's not going to calculate the commission for you. That's the only part that they need to fix. So I'm going to have to calculate the half of commission, obviously, instead of it just doing it for me. So when I change it to 0.5, that's the only thing is you have to manually at this point change this total commission. Hopefully at some point, that's one of those things that they'll fix. And of course, you'll see this error message up here that equals 1. And yes, it's going to, but now when you scroll down a little ways, you're going to see a new button that wasn't there before that says Add Agent. And you'll be able to select the agent from your office that is the other half of your transaction. And the same thing, you'll be able to put them in at their percentage. It doesn't like to go down on its own. And the same thing, you'll calculate that commission for that second person. And you can put in as many people as you want as long as these units equal a 1. So no matter how many people are on your transaction, just that total unit at the end of the day has to equal a 1.
Gotcha.
You'll be able to change these units, and that's how you're able to add people.
Erin?
Yes.
How does this work as far as in-house referrals or like referrals within Keller Williams? Because on the green sheets, we would leave the unit as a 1.0 and just put the dollars that was the referral fee, because otherwise the referring agent was getting credit for all the units.
You can manually manipulate this any way you want to. So if I were to change this to 0 units, let's say, but they're still getting 41.25, and then I wanted to change, you can manually manipulate these figures to make it be whatever you need it to be.
So once you add that other agent, you can go back up and make it a full 1.0, and the second agent will stay.
Yeah, you do have to. It's the way you have to do it right now is you have to modify the first person to open up that box, and then you'll have to go back up and switch it. Because that add agent box unfortunately doesn't open until the unit is less than 1.
All right.
But you would also do add agent if you're doing a referral, would you not? Or is
actually, no, I'm going to show you that right now. And this is actually another option for you, Matt, too. What I'm going to show you right now, maybe something else that would work in what you're looking for. So if you're adding a referral, you're going to actually hit this button here that says add item. And then it's going to open up, is it a bonus? Is it a concession? Is it an inside referral, which may work, Matt, for what you're talking about? Or an outside referral, which would be a referral to another agent. So you would put in your 25% referral amount, it'll calculate it. And this is where you can also put their tax ID, broker name, agent name, and you can start to put in all their information here.
Question, inside and outside, is that inside anything within Keller Williams and outside is like a Century 21?
Absolutely. So if you wanted to, so I just added that referral and outside, but if I wanted to add an item and do a referral that's an inside, I could do the same thing, and I could just put the amount, and see, Matt, there's no unit. So it would just be a dollar amount and then whoever the inside agent is. So that's another way to do it if you don't want to be flubbing with the up and down of the percentages of the unit. You can do it this way and there's no units involved. If there's any other type of, if you're getting a bonus or any sort of deductions or coming or anything like that, you can put those kind of things in here too. If you happen to be getting a bonus, you could put the bonus in here on a particular thing. So then you'll have here all the information. And now you'll see over here on the right-hand side, there's a summary. So it's going to show you what your total commission is, what you're paying out in a referral, a summary of your royalty, your company dollar, and what the agents are being paid, and then pay to office. So you'll have a summary here of what is going on your transaction. And then when you're done, all you would do is hit submit. And when you submit that, then that's what goes to your MCA, so that your MCA then can process it on their end and await your closing on this information. So that is just simply that commissions tab is your green sheet. But all of the legwork for that is done here in offers. So all the information that you put in offers is what's going to pull over into this commissions tab. Does anybody have any other questions? Let's see.
So this is how we're submitting green sheets as of right now?
Well, yeah, it's preferred that you start doing it this way. The green sheets themselves are not being cut off. So it's not an issue, you know, where if you still wanted to do a green sheet. We wanted to bring this to everybody's attention now because we do want to move into this by, say, May 15th. So we would like everybody to be on commissions by May 15th. I did just want to clarify quickly just what Matt was talking about before with the inside-outside referral. So on teams, things are paid in certain ways. So an inside referral really is any time that you're paying an agent within Keller Williams and you don't want it to affect the unit count. If you're splitting units 50-50 and that's okay, then I would do it in the effort of adding an agent and toggling through this unit here. But if your agent is if you're just paying the person and your units are not being affected, if you're taking the full unit and just splitting dollar amount, then that's where I would do the inside referral under add an item. And then outside referral is obviously just always your outside referral. Once this is submitted, can it be changed? Yes, your offer actually can be changed. You would come back here over to offer, and you would make the change to the change response. You'd be able to open it back up and then resubmit the commission if something were to change. And then the commission would be resubmitted to the MCA. So instead of having to email the MCA now like you do to tell them that a green sheet is changed, you can make the change, resubmit the commission, and then they'll get a notification that it was resubmitted with the new amount.
Can I ask a question, Erin?
Of course.
Sorry, I'll put my video back on. So in our case, Madeline and Kristen, so if Kristen has the buyer for just do her own green sheet through commissions through here, and then I always do Madeline's. So should I do one then for Madeline, or does it make more sense? But yeah, I don't know. Does it make more sense to do it the way you just taught us, where I'd add Kristen to it?
So you cut out at the very beginning of what you said. So I missed the very, very beginning of what you said. So are they on the same side of the transaction?
No. So Madeline would be the seller's agent. Kristen would be the buyer's agent. But if we had them on the same deal, would Kristen do one under opportunity?
You would. You absolutely would. Kristen would do an opportunity as representing the one side, and Madeline would do the opportunity as representing the other side. Okay. And then there would be 2 opportunities and then 2 offers and 2 commissions.
Okay, so instead of doing it on one sheet like I normally do, where I just add Kristen in and I adjust the 0.6 versus 0.4 and all that, just do 2 separate ones. Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Now, if they're on the same side of the transaction, if let's say, for example, they're both being paid on the one side of the transaction, then you would do it all on one and just adjust the units and add the agent
Right.
Have it
Okay.
all on one. So if it's a 60-40 split for a team, you could do it all on one if they're on the same side of the transaction. If you have to create a second opportunity because it's another side of the transaction, then you would create a separate offer.
One. Okay, I get it. I get it. Thank you.
You're welcome. See if we have any other questions in the chat. If an agent's cap is incorrect, how do you fix it? Does the MCA have to adjust it? Well, the MCA should always be told if something is coming up incorrectly on an agent's cap, because there is a manual place where we make those changes. Eileen, do you want to unmute yourself and just ask me a little bit more specifically what?
Sure, yeah, I went to put in Brian's, we tried to do this yesterday, and for Brian, he's on a team, so his cap is reduced, and it still said 32,000.
Make sure that your MCA has the proper cap in Winmore.
Okay,
And
in Winmore.
In Winmore. Make sure that Ray has the proper cap listed in Winmore.
Okay, yeah, I
Because
thought they
that's where
changed
it'll
all the teams, but
yeah,
I didn't
and
know.
maybe somebody got missed. Double check. If it is
Okay.
still showing as incorrect, I would honestly let the angels know. I'd have Ray notify the angels and find
Okay.
out why, because this pulls from that Winmore master record of everybody's commission split.
Okay,
So if this is incorrect, then it's not feeding properly from somewhere.
okay, gotcha, thank you.
You're welcome.
Erin,
Yes.
in that section where you showed where we can enter in the commission,
Yes.
based on the definition of, I don't know what the definition of the terms are. So if, could we do it the same way as far as like paying because of the way my splits work
Yes.
and how the team covers the royalty and the cap for every agent, could we just go in and enter in the exact amount of the commission being paid to the team member as a bonus instead of as a referral, and then not have the fees come out of it?
Well, no, because your team actually in Winmore is listed at 100% with all of those things already properly set up. So no matter what you enter for them, it's not going to pull royalty or commission out, because their system is not set up to do that. So even if you did it as a referral, it wouldn't pull from them, because it's not, the system doesn't have that for them, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right, cool.
Erin, question. If you're, like I have a closing on Thursday, the 30th. Do you want it left in the old system, or should that be
Yes, please. Don't redo anything that's already been done. Those green sheets have already been pulled in and processed. So if something's already done, no need to redo at all.
And all the ones for May, if they've been done for May already, just leave them?
Just leave them. If you want to enter the offer for your own record keeping, by all means, go ahead, but don't do a commission tab for something that already has a green sheet, because then we'll end up with duplicate green sheets. We'll end up with two.
Right, right. Well, I'll take a double payment.
I have a feeling we'd notice, but.
So just to clarify that, let's just say if I'm doing a sale with Matt, and I've got the buyer, he's got the seller. We each do our own inputting into our program.
Correct.
Right. So do they coincide? Will they populate so that he sees my side, or is it just that he just sees what he's doing and I see what I'm doing?
He sees what he's doing and you see what you're doing.
Okay. Now, if let's say if Matt was selling a house and someone on his team then acts as the buyer's agent, and he's the seller, that's all done within the same.
It's still, you always have to create, because if you think back to the opportunities and you think back to the document checklists, think back, because again, it's all connected. If you're doing a listing, you're the listing agent, you've put in all of your listing documents, you have all of your listing opportunity created in command, and you have a buyer, you have to create a second opportunity for that buyer, because there's not even a checklist for a buyer in here. Okay. So you still have to create two opportunities, so you still would create two commissions.
So two different people require two different opportunities.
Correct.
Okay. Just trying to get clear.
No problem. I hope that makes sense.
Erin, I have a question.
Sure.
So I understand the whole thing with the commissions and adding agents. Christy, I was actually just playing around with it before this call, and I figured out how to add me and Madeline on the buy side. However, now with the offers, wouldn't it make sense, and I haven't done this yet, but wouldn't it make sense for me to send my offer to the listing agent as long as they're part of KW through Command? And
Absolutely
then
could.
tie that offer into their own opportunity for the listing side instead of having to recreate the offer that I sent them?
You absolutely could, and you can even attach the purchase offer to it when you go to send it through. So you could send them an email summary of the offer by filling out all this information and then adding an attachment. And of course, you can send a copy to yourself.
And now, would it automatically link on their end?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't know that. I haven't encountered that yet, so I honestly am not sure. I will certainly find out. I'm not sure 100% if it links.
And I could always
in any way.
I could always test it with sending it to Madeline or
yeah,
something.
I'll do the same thing. And that's one thing I haven't encountered yet, honestly, is if it happens to link into theirs. I don't think it does.
I think it should.
Well, a lot of things should, but that could be an idea that we could put to KW. You know, anytime you go up to this little question mark, you can post an idea to KW for something that you think should work better or different.
Yeah, because I think that would just make so much sense instead of them getting the offer and then having to re-enter it. And then, all this commission, information is pre-populated.
I agree. Yeah. I certainly agree.
All right,
sure.
I'll play around with that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Hey, Erin, it's Diane.
Yeah. Hi, Diane.
So we have a simple transaction where we have a listing, and then we have a under contract from XYZ company. And now the whole thing is falling apart because the buyer couldn't get their financing. So unless I missed it, how would you delete a whole green sheet? Right now we're sending emails to tell you guys to.
You're going to come into your offer.
Okay.
You're going to change your response. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change my opportunity details. I'm going to reject the offer.
Okay.
And then the MCA will know that the offer it'll show as rejected.
Wait, where did you reject? I didn't see that.
Right here. Well, I can't re-reject it. Hold on. I can accept it or I can reject it. It gives you two options right there. You're still going to have to communicate with your MCA on things, though. For example, you can change estimated closing dates and things like that through here, actually. So it's a little bit less communication, but you'll still be communicating with your MCA regarding a lot of things. But changing the response will actually clear out anything. So you'll be able to change estimated closing dates and things like that through here to keep us updated on what's happening with the transaction.
Erin?
Yes.
It's Diane Silver. At the end, when Jason did a green sheet, I was able to see with mine exactly what was going on. Am I going to see that same format at the end when I get out of this?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
After I did a green sheet or after he did a green sheet, we were able to see it together on what he had and what I had. Am I going to see his end as well when it comes to
you two are not officially a team, so I don't believe so. I believe that you won't have access to this particular commission. But again, I don't believe that you would, no, because it will be here under Jason's, and since you're not a team, you won't be able to see his.
You can add a person to the opportunity, but I don't think you can if they're not on the team.
Yeah, I don't think you can either. Thanks, Matt. So does anybody have any other questions about the functionality or how this works, or when? Everybody understands when you would do this? You do the commissions when something goes under contract. So just so you know, the MCAs and Diane check based on the MLS what is under contract in the MLS. We do daily kind of spot checks to see. So we expect these green sheets within no more than 48 hours of something going under contract. And if they're not done, then generally you will get a notification from us that you are missing your commission. So I'm going to, unless somebody can come up with a fun name for this, I guess they'll be called commissions at this point, unless somebody wants to come up with a fun name for them.
Well, that's just the same as a green sheet. So,
It is, absolutely.
yeah.
Gloria, do you want to unmute yourself and ask me your question? And
hi, Erin. How are you?
Hi, Annie. How are you? Good. How are you?
All right. So, like sometimes with my short sales, there may be a small fee, like $200 or something, and I'll just tell the attorney, you know what? I'll cover that cost. That's only affecting my commission, not the purchase price. So, how would I note that here in the
You could come down here and say add an item at the very bottom, and you could put some sort of deduction. And then let's say, for example, it's $150, and I could say REO fee.
Okay.
And then that way I'm able to add that as a deduction.
Okay. Perfect.
Or you can add a note. So there is still a section to add a note that the MCA will see. So you could say, you know, final check will be $150 less. And then you would put the note in, and then the MCA would see that there's that little item.
That's perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
And just a reminder, and this is even a reminder for the green sheets, because I see this happens a lot. Don't just put a referral in the notes. Please put a referral where a referral needs to be, because sometimes the notes aren't as visible as where a referral should be. And a lot of times that's how referrals are missed, because someone just decides to put them in the notes, but doesn't actually come in and add them in where a referral should be. John, I saw that you had a question. I don't know if Agent 1 and Agent 2 split the commission 60-40, 60-40, how to split the referral fee 60-40 as well. Let's see, I get the question. It should do it. So actually, John, would you mind unmuting yourself for just a second?
Yeah, hi, Erin.
How are you? Hi. So if you have a referral and it's a 60-40 split between the two agents on the transaction, the referral doesn't just get generally split in half?
Yeah, so what we do in our team is that if, I don't know, it happened maybe just once so far. So, you know, in the buyer's side, so our team leader is there as well, but they kind of split 60-40 as well for the referral fee. So
the best
like, for
way
example,
to do that, I actually get exactly what you're saying. So the best way to do that when you go to add an item and you add an outside referral is you can actually modify this amount. So if you may have to calculate it by hand, the 60-40, which is probably how you had to do it before anyway, and you would be able to change this figure and it would just kind of modify this referral percentage amount. But you could manually change the amount. So if the first agent is paying 60% of the referral, you can put that amount here and then add that, and then you can add a second item with a note. So you could put the first item and you could say, you know, outside referral, let's say, but it's really 1,800, and you put the referral information.
So
you can add both. So you can add it as two referrals. You would add with the two different amounts, and then I would suggest that you just add a little note just to explain that that's what the scenario is. You would just have to manipulate the numbers based on what the 60% of the referral is and the other side of the referral is.
Got it. Okay, thanks, Erin.
You're welcome. I hope that answers your question. Let's see, we've got
Erin, I have one question.
Sure.
If we wanted to send the offer through here, right? Because sometimes I get offers from other agents and I'm like, I don't know who taught them how to write an offer. It's me crazy. So if I wanted to send the offer through here but attach, is there a way to attach their offer too?
Yeah, when you go into offers and you go to send, there's a box that says add attachment.
Oh, okay.
So you can add an attachment for whatever it is.
Okay.
that you're adding. So you could add the actual offer so that they could take a look at it.
Okay.
That's what you would do when you're sending it to the say the seller.
If you chose to send it to the seller or you chose to send it to the other agent to have them take a look at it through here, you could do it either way.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Do you have any other questions, concerns, thoughts?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
So I'm sorry, maybe I missed it, but the sending an offer through here, is that different? Because aren't we also going to be able to send the offer through like the DocuSign?
Yeah, this is it's just an option. I mean, you don't have to send the offer.
Is this
through here.
is this a quicker way though, like an easier just?
I don't know if it's easier because you have to. The thing with this is, if you're sending it from here, you have to have the offer. If you're attaching the actual purchase offer, you have to have it downloaded. So this is not This is not pulling it from the document section. So if you wanted to attach the actual purchase offer, you'd have to go into your documents, download it, and then attach it into this section here. But if you were sending it right through DocuSign or right through your document section through DocuSign, then you could just share it directly from there, just like you could through Dotloop. Thank you. Corinne, do you want to explain what that meant? Because I didn't really know.
Hi. Yeah, sorry. Just to follow up that last comment, I think that the offer through command to another agent could just be, or to the seller's agent, whatever, could just be a preemptive, like other written offer rather than a offer over the phone or something. Just something a little bit more official before you get the actual purchase offer signed through DocuSign.
Absolutely, it could be for sure. Does anybody else have any questions?
So when you do the commission here, does that populate back to the opportunity?
Well, you're in the opportunity, so where would it populate back to?
Okay, yeah, I just feel I'm in a whole different program. I'm in a different section within.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's nowhere really for it to go from here, because if you have your opportunity completed, you have this information already in your opportunity. That's where it comes from.
Okay.
Thank you, Sharon. You have a good day too, hon. Okay, well, if that's it for the questions, I thank you guys all for being here. And if you encounter any issues or you start to work on these and you have any questions, you can always reach out to me while you're doing it and work through.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great afternoon and get some sun. It's beautiful out there.
Have a good day.
Thanks.